Hello and welcome to an RNG tutorial with me, Chris Banana. This is going to be my RNG tutorial on 3rd Gen RNG. Live battery. 3rd Gen RNG is historically the hardest RNG to pull off, but at the same time easiest, since you have to be precise to 1/60th of a second. Since you have to hit one frame and the game goes 60 frames per second. The problem was that on retail it would be very hard to hit this precisely, and if you were doing live battery, which you would only have the chance to hit a seed once every 4 or 5 months, then that made it even more stressful because you only had one chance to go for your seed and for the Pokemon you wanted. But now, with the advent of emulators, it's much easier. So the things you will need will be VBA RR, a specific type of Virtual Boy emulator which can run Lua scripts, which I will provide. Lua scripts I use to check the IVs and it tells me the frame I'm on. You'll need a calculator, a save, I'll provide everything. This spreadsheet with all the starting seeds, which you'll see how to use, and RNG reporter. So what you want to do is make sure that your emulator has the real-time clock off, since that will give us a starting seed of 5AO always. And we want to calibrate, so it would be helpful to know what our starting seed is. So you go into the game. For this example, I'll be RNGing Groudon. And Groudon starts its end. So what calibrating means is you want to know how many frames it takes for you to press A for the Pokemon to generate. So for Groudon, it's when you press A at this here. So you want to pause it by pressing Control P, and you want to make sure that you've set up all your controller, this is my setup. My button A is Z, so I'll be referring to A as Z. You want to make sure you set everything up, and you want to press at this point. You want to take note of which frame you're on, which is A 9851, which you can find here. And if you press Z, A, P at the same time, Groudon starts its animation. And then see, it just generated the IVs and the spread. So we can pause the game or just leave it running and go over to our RNG reporter, where we have for our seed hex, which is our starting seed, which will always be 5AO if it's a dead battery. Method 1, and enter the IVs. 3, 9, 10, 4, 26, and 29. Generate. So you see this is the frame we hit, 10,505. So let's pause the game. And if we subtract from this number, 10,505, we're going to get negative 654, which is how many frames it takes from me to pressing A to the generation of the Pokemon. Usually I get around 653, but let's type 654 as well. So that is how many frames it takes from me pressing A to the IVs being generated. So with that in mind, we can move RNG reporter back. We want to find a PID for a Pokemon which we can RNG. And it's easy to get live battery R5 IV RNGs. So what you want to do is open up, you go to RNG reporter, time finder, 4th generation time finder, and then you'll see a window open up. This one here. You enter your year, min-max delay, which I enter 1 from 99999, and 1 to 2000. You can always bump this up if you don't get any results. You enter 5 IVs, not 6. Enter your nature and press generate. So you can get a plethora of results The one that I've chosen to go for has this PID, so I open up another one of Kaphotics' tools, and oops, I accidentally closed it. I open the find frame, go to findframe.exe, and I enter the PID A9, A6. It'll tell you the IVs and the first 16-bit seed it occurs on, which is A1D8. And now that I know this, I don't need this anymore. Okay, with that all said, now I know the PID which I want to go for. So I'll enter it in my find frame. 1, 2, 7, E, A, 6, A, 9. Oops. 1, 7, 2, E, A, 6, no, A9, A6. There we go. So as you can see, it appears on frame, and appears on seed 1, A1D8 on frame 95,077. So now that we know that, we can get rid of this, we can get rid of that, and we go to our spreadsheet. And on our spreadsheet, we press Ctrl F1, ID8. And as you can see, there it is. It's on the 28th day, 12th hour, and 20th minute. So what this means is you have to open up your computer time and date, go to change date and time. Since day 1 is considered January 2000, you go to January 28th day, change your time to 12:20, since that's my time, and 00. As you can see, 12:20:00. You press OK. While your emulator is paused, you restart, and you unpause and pause again. But before you do that, what you want to do is you want to go to emulation, check real-time clock, and reload your game. Once you do that, you can unpause and pause. If you have your real-time clock running on the emulator, the 5th seed you get is going to be your starting seed. So see, we hit it. Now the frame that we were going to hit is 95,077 minus 654, which was our calibration value, which should give us that frame, and that frame is the frame we need to hit. Press A on in order to get our Pokemon. You also want to check before doing this. You want to RNG or train ID secret ID combo to one of these. You enter your PID in the Pandora box in RNG Reporter, which you can find from the Urgent Rules Pandora's box. Enter the PID, and it gives you possible shiny frames. So now what you want to do is, I've already RNG'd my trainer ID secret ID. That I'll teach in another video. And you just go on this here if you're doing ground on a Kyogre. For Rayquaza, it's just when you press A. I have it all here in my breeding values. And if you stop the Lua, your emulator will run significantly faster. Okay, so now let's see, we're on frame 57,000. We can just leave it going for another minute or so. And a little bit more. And just because I've done this before and I think it's 653, I'm going to go for 653, so minus 1. Let's see, that should be enough. Okay, so now that we're at around close enough, we're on 93,000. You want to make a save state by pressing Shift and an F number, which I'll save to F10. So if you mess up, you can come back to. And you want to keep going until you're around like 100 frames down from your target. Press Ctrl P, and then you advance frame by frame by pressing Ctrl N, and you keep going until you get to the value on the calculator. So let's see if actually I'll trust my calibration. Go for 21, and here we go. Let's turn the audio on to get a bit more. As you can see, now we can see if I actually did it. Oh, I missed it. So now you can see those are the IVs for what I got. We open up RNG Reporter, the main window. We put our starting seed here, which is for me 1AD8, and I enter 1, 0. This Pokemon has the best IVs. We should keep it, you know. 10 and 6. And as you can see, I missed it by 3 frames. So plus 3, 24. And you go to your save.